Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this Getting Started class. My name is Jesus Nava. I'm the Director of Client Training and Education for TradeStation Securities. And for me, it's always a pleasure to be here to talk a little bit about TradeStation, not only the technology, but also its services and where you can find resources that can help you get up and trading quickly with the TradeStation platform. Today is a class it's called the Getting Started class because it's designed to walk you through the different things that TradeStation offers, specifically on TradeStation HUB. HUB is the place where you would go to manage your account and eventually a place where you're also going to have the ability to manage your portfolio and your trading. But let's go ahead and talk about the resources that are available on TradeStation HUB, just so that you're aware of the things you can do there. And that way you can save calling into client support and be able to do your some of the tasks on your own on TradeStation HUB. I know that even though sometimes it's easier, to get somebody on the phone and have them help you, a lot of times it is time consuming. And from personal experience, I'd like to have resources online that can help me manage my account and not have to call a support team. But our support team is there. They're there for you to call them and get somebody on the line and help you with anything you need, not only on your account, but also on the TradeStation platform. But it's also very convenient to be able to do those things from the web. Just a few things before we get started. Keep in mind that if we mention any symbols or any idea, these are not recommendations of TradeStation. Also, that active trading is not suitable for everyone. And past historical performance is no guarantee of future results. One thing that I do want to tell everyone that we have all the disclosures on the web. If you need a little bit more details on these, just go to tradestation.com/important dash information. All right. If you guys have any questions, the chat is there. I'm going to be glancing at the chat once in a while to make sure that I address any questions the team or the audience may have. So feel free to use it as you need it, okay? Let me go ahead and set my chat to everyone. There is a little drop down at the bottom of your chat that allows you to set your messages either private or to everyone. I always tell, the audience to set your messages to everyone so that everyone can see the questions. And as we are addressing those questions, it just makes a lot of sense because you are already seeing the question in the chat. Okay, but today we're going to talk about the client center, not the client center, the TradeStation HUB. Client center was actually the name of this tool that I'm going to show you, the TradeStation HUB. I am going to pull up my TradeStation website right here on the screen. Let me see if I can pull it up. Okay, so this is the TradeStation HUB. But before we get here, when you're on tradestation.com, this is the TradeStation website, you have a sign in button right here on the top right. Before, I'm not sure if how long you've been here with TradeStation, but before, when you clicked on sign in, a modal would pop up in the middle of the screen asking you where would you like to log into. And you have different options. You had Futures Plus, you had the Client Center, you had the TradeStation Web Trading. Now there's only one sign in, and when you click on sign in, it's going to ask you for the username and password that you would usually use to log into TradeStation. When you do that, it sends you right here. This is the TradeStation Hub. In TradeStation Hub, one of the main things that we allow you to see is a performance graph on your accounts. This is something that is already live. You should be able to come in here and see all the accounts that are connected to your TradeStation login aggregated in this graph. You can see that my graph is pretty much flat. I'm connected to a couple of accounts where very little trading is happening. But one of the things that I wanted to point out here is this aggregate button. I think it's turned on by default. I think it's turned off because that's what I did last time I was looking at this. But if you turn the aggregate button on, first of all, you saw that my graph changed. Is because one of the accounts is not traded. The other one, there's a very light trading activity. So there's fluctuation in the account value. I'm not sure how many accounts you have with TradeStation, but you can have multiple accounts. These can be equities, these can be futures accounts, and they can all be connected to your login. Now you can have multiple equities and you can have multiple futures. So sometimes it's really cool for us to have this type of feature where we can aggregate all the accounts and be able to see an account value graph going back in history. Notice that you have these buttons here that allow you to do 1 week, 1 month, and so forth. Over here in this drop down, you have access to your specific account numbers. You can go back to the unaggregated view or just select one or the other, and that way you can see the two accounts separately. And if we aggregate, it just shows everything. Okay, perfect. If you click on add account for here, and this, I'm just going down the dashboard of the TradeStation HUB. So we can see all the different sections here. The top one, of course, is your portfolio. Then you have a section on accounts, and you have this button that says add account, allowing you to open up a new account with TradeStation. You can see that the accounts that are connected to this particular login are an equities account and a futures account. And you can also assign an alias to those accounts. Notice that one has a number, the other one has a name, QA futures account. That is something you can do on your side as well to be able to identify the accounts so much easier. The next section over is need help. You have FAQs or a link to FAQs. You have the ability to request a callback from our team. You have a live chat, and if you see that green button next to live chat, that just means that somebody's online. So as soon as you click on live chat, you'll be automatically connected to somebody on our team, and you can chat with them online. And then you have our contact us page or contact us link that takes you to all the different phone numbers. Let me click here so you can see what that looks like. You have contact us for new accounts, and then you have the phone numbers. Then you have client support, and you have the hours and the numbers. The trade desk. If there's any questions about orders or execution or positions, or if you want help closing any positions, this is the number that you would want, the trade desk number. But if you have questions on your maybe a wire transfer, or you have a question on the TradeStation platform, then you would have to go to client support. If there's a data issues, if you find or are able to identify a data issue, you're looking at a chart and you say, this doesn't seem right. This does not align with what the market's doing. And even you've checked other providers and you realize that our data is not accurate, you can go to data integrity. There's an email here and report any issues you find with data. Of course, you can do that with a client support team, and they'll send the report for you as well. Below the need help section, we have the platform and tools. So if you're looking to access the web trading platform, you do it from here. Notice that you have a launch button down below. For the mobile, you can download or scan the QR code from your phone so that you can go directly to the download of that app. We have a mobile app for Android, and we also have a mobile app for iOS. I think the iOS has two versions. It has an iPhone and it has an iPad version. You have access to your Futures Plus. I don't have a Futures Plus account in this login, so that's why it says Open Futures Options account. Futures Plus is a platform that we make available for you to be able to trade options on futures. Those cannot be traded on the TradeStation desktop, so you need a unique type of account that allows you to trade those assets. And here we have the Futures Plus mobile that you can also take advantage of. This is the desktop. Notice that what I just did, I just clicked and dragged. This is a carousel of different options you have. Then you have the desktop with Option Station Pro. And it just repeats the things either to the left or to the right. You can just click and drag. So that's the platforms and tools section. I'm going to scroll down here. Notice that you have an education section as well. This is an interesting panel because it does link to things that are happening on the education side. I head up the education team. These content cards are periodically changed so that you can see what's upcoming. Here we have September 29th is today. This is the options replay webinar. But let me just see something here. Okay, because I was looking at this. Okay, that's September 29th. I already see a problem here. This should not be options replay. This is a webinar that is happening today at 2 p.m. But if I click on this content card, it'll load up. Let me see what happens here. Let me click here. This is a webinar. Okay, so this is options replay. Okay, so this is a webinar. It says September 29th at 2 p.m., but the link is wrong. If you click on an article, it'll open that article automatically for you. And in the same way that you did here with platforms, you can click and drag and see all the content that's here. One of the nice things about the education panel is that you have some filters. So if there's something specific that you're looking for, let's say you're looking for videos on our mobile app, I click on mobile app filter and my screen is filtered and I see a webinar here on improved options management on mobile. But then I have two quick starts that go on to explaining how to use the mobile app. So yes, use the filters up here to see how they can filter the education that's here in the carousel. You can also click and drag and see all the different components, or even click on the browse education button here on the right. That'll take you to the learn section of TradeStation. So here we have sections for using TradeStation. If I want to go into using TradeStation, then I have the different platforms. You have education on web trading, Option Station Pro, mobile, desktop, whatever is it that you want to learn on is right here on the web. Okay, going back to Hub. So that's the end of this dashboard. So the dashboard has a lot of information, and that's what a dashboard is meant to be. You have the account graph at the top, the account menu below it. You have the Need Help section, the platform section, and then the education section right there below. In addition to this, you have a menu here on the left. The little home icon, of course, takes you to the dashboard. But the next section over, platforms, is just a dedicated view to the platforms on TradeStation. And if you click here on portfolio, then this is the dedicated view on your accounts. Notice that this is a little different because now I have a drop down here where I can select the account that I want to see. If I go here to my equities, I can see my positions. I have a small position on American Airlines and have a small position on Bank of America. Now, these accounts, of course, are created or were created for testing purposes, and that's why the positions are so small. But just wanted to show you how they show up here in Hub. You have a balances view. If you want to load activity, you can go in there for that specific account. The gain loss functionality and the tax center functionality are two tabs that are available for equities accounts. If you switch over to a futures account, we don't have those features for futures, but all equities accounts have a section on gain loss where you can make adjustments to the way that TradeStation processes tax lot transfers. If you want to do or lot relief methods, if you want to do something like first in, first out, which is the default, or change it, there's a lot of things you can manage here for accounting purposes. You have a tax center, and then you have statements if you want to load your monthly, daily, or confirmations from the web. Okay, so that's the portfolio view. And then you have your lists, which go into your special margin requirement list and the futures margin rates list. Okay, so those are lists that are available for you to look at, and they change periodically as well. Okay, so that's on the left nav. On the right nav, right top, you have access to, this is the contact us. Let me go back here. Let me close this. So if you click on your profile icon right here on the top, you have the ability to change your profile. If I go into my profile, yes, you can change the address, the residential and the mailing address. You can change your phone numbers and you can change your email address. You can also go into employment and change your employment information, your financial information as well, and the trusted contact information if you want to add a trusted contact to your account. That's information that you can go into the hub and change directly yourself. If I go into security, I have the ability to change my password and change my username. So you don't necessarily have to call in client support or client services in order to do that. You have the ability to reset the 2FA. Many times we switch phones and we have to reset our 2FA. This is a two-factor authentication. This is the way that TradeStation verifies that you are the one that is accessing your account. And sometimes we'll send a text message or something to confirm that is the case. The security questions, I'm not sure if you've had a chance to call in our client support team, but they'll ask you verification questions. And you can set the questions and answers here yourself so that if they ask you what's the name of your first pet, you'd know the answer. And then that would be verification for us. Make sure that you select questions that only you know the answer to, or those that are close to you, like the trusted person knows this, so that these are not easily figured out. And going back here to my profile, we have the manage section where you can manage your data packages. If you've logged into TradeStation, you're receiving real-time data on certain exchanges. That's up to you which data packages you want to turn on. But this allows you to go into a menu. It's an a la carte menu where you choose which real-time data packages you want to add to your account. Here's for payment and billing. Pretty much anything that is billed to your account, you can edit. You also have access to your simulated accounts. Now, this is something cool because you are given a an equities and a futures simulated account by default. So at the time that you log into TradeStation, you have to choose whether you want to go to your live accounts or you want to use the software on a simulated environment. But here, if I go to view edit simulated accounts, I have the ability to reset balances, account activity, and everything about those accounts. Notice that this particular login, I have 6 different simulated accounts. I have 3 equities accounts and have 3 futures accounts. That's the way that I set up mine. I wanted to have those multiple accounts in my login. And if you do want to do that, you can probably call client support and ask that if you wanted that. But for the most part, if you're practicing functionality, maybe just 1 equities and 1 futures is more than enough. But just be aware that here you can set the funds and the trading activity and you can reset it. A lot of times, resetting your simulated balances to match your live account does allow you to trade within the limitations of your account value. A lot of times, if you have millions of dollars in your simulated and only thousands of dollars in your live account, the type of trading you do and the number of or the size of positions you take, of course, are going to change. But that's something to be aware of, okay? And what else? Let's see. If I go back to manage, oh, community preferences. I'm not sure if you've been to the forums, but we have forums where you can post questions and the community will answer them. This is the way that you log in or the username that you'll use to log into the forums. Please make sure it is different than your TradeStation account username and password, just to make sure that's a little bit more private. And this is just to log into the forums and post. And you can also search the forums for any questions or any discussions that may interest you as well. And that's it. We have a sign out button where it allows you to sign out from the hub. We have this help button next to the profile that allows you to go into the FAQs, into education and training. You also have access to the live chat from here or request a callback. We saw these also on the dashboard. So a lot of times there's a little bit of an overlap, but that's just for us to make sure that you are aware of the resources you have in order to find help. So here's additional links that you can look at. And we have a messaging service. Here's the inbox. You can search for notifications that TradeStation sends you. Here are this little menu. Okay, you can filter by unread if you wanted to do that. Since this is an account where I'm restricted from transferring any funds, you don't see a transfers button here. But if I go into, let me go into a development environment of Hub so you can see the transfers button. Okay, so this is a development environment where you can see the transfers button up here. Everybody sees that? When I click on transfers, I can also do any funds deposits. I can withdraw funds from my TradeStation accounts or transfer funds between accounts that are connected to my hub. So this is a great tool that connects right within Hub, and you have access to that as well once you log in. Okay? And that's some of the things that I wanted to show you. Hopefully, I showed you things that you weren't aware of. I don't see any questions in the chat, so I'm going to assume that there are no questions. But I do want to appreciate the time that you spent with me. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you in one of my future classes. Have a great afternoon, and I'll see you next time. Remember that there's a webinar today at 2 p.m., so make sure you look at the events page and register for that if you have the time. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me today. Great. Bye-bye.